Yeah, some great liveries here for this series. We're really looking forward to showing you more throughout the race. We've got 10 minutes left to qualify. We should be able to get through a few of the beautiful liveries that we're going to see throughout the season. And what could No Frills do? Will he get any time up on DJM? I'd say this was actually his outlap because we didn't get any registered time there.
Okay, while we're just waiting for this to click over, I do apologise, rookie error there. I have actually pressed the wrong button. We were actually recording instead of going live for our stream, so I have corrected that now. So I do apologise to everybody watching this. We did miss a little bit of the start. But while the guys have got 9 minutes to go, we'll quickly just shoot over and take a look at the track map so I can reintroduce where we are this evening quickly for the Gravel Trap Legends Americana GT4 Series, Series 2 for 2023 with Gravel Trap Legends. This is round 1 with the GT4 cars, and the wild card they can use the Sigma P2 as a wild card on any one of these 6 events during this series. We have 5 P2 Sigmas running with us this evening, and we are at Long Beach. The date for the race is the 30th of March 2022. There's a few fun facts about the track. Long Beach is 3.167 kilometres long, or 1.98 miles. And Neil, the liveries that we're running in this series coincides with the Americana theme. We're running around tracks through America, and the theme is American famous brands. We can see the John Deere Mercedes there has a little bit of work, and the KFC Porsche also looks like it's had a bit of a bingle.
Yeah, John Slow obviously getting a croppers with the bollards going through drive-through, one would think, but look, he's finger licking good, and back in 16th, greasy fingers. So we'll see how they go. Hopefully he can keep his hands on this wheel of this Porsche Cayman GT4. And he's also teaming up with his good mate Vibrant, which I'm not too sure if he's actually going to in the wildcard entry in the Sigmas, currently P2. Like either he's out of fuel, wondering what he's going to do, maybe checking a few dials, but looks like he's pulling up there. So as we know, we've got the 5 P2 cars all running for extra points here for their wildcard entry.
And we have a few guys live in our stream this evening. G'day, welcome to our stream. Don't be afraid to jump in the chat, say g'day, and we'll be asking a couple of questions very shortly on who you think will be the fastest car during the race. We might put a bit of a poll out.
Just looking at Gun 180. Gunner at the moment is showing some gold there for obvious reasons as well. Absolutely just taken out just recently the ANZ CRL 2019 Brazilian Stock Car Championship that we ran on Sunday nights at AusNZ Combined Racing League. Won it by 2 points from Timmy 82. And it was a hard fought battle over 9 races in 5 rounds. And here he's showing all his class here. He's currently in 6th position in the GT4 class. And we'll see if he can live up to his rockstar name. Putting it on for the crowd out of turn there, Tim. That'll be a good spot to watch the cars come out.
So as we look at this track, Neil, there is 11 turns. We come through down the start-finish line. This is the East Shore line. The track doesn't actually have curve or corner names. It's referred after street names. We're coming through Aquarium Way as we come around the fountain, down into South Chestnut, into turn 4. Which is a tricky corner. It narrows up on you. Around turn 5 onto West Shoreline, which is a little straight down before a hard left, which is turn 6. and then turn 7 where the barricades end there, down into turn 8 onto East Shoreline, the big back straight, and that is punishing. Those tyre barriers are full of concrete.
Yeah, they don't move, and he's just running up to one of the P2 cars. Shouldn't affect him. And these cars too, the GT4s, Tim, only able to run on the hard compound slick tyres as well, so that's why you see them sliding around a little bit. They don't have the luxury of running those soft, sticky, slick tyres.
And unlike the GT3 cars, there is very little in the way of roll bars, an additional setup for these cars. It's pretty basic. We look at the PV car there, is not looking so happy either. It's a little bit of front end repairs required.
Yeah, but he'll amplify your viewing, won't he, Tim?
Absolutely.
It actually looks like you're looking at the front of a speaker stack there.
It looks like AC/DC's been playing that stack, mate.
Yeah, if only it was a Marshall, my friend. But yeah, definitely some good tunes. The 1000 watter. Plenty of tunes coming out there. I think Jay Hill's just keeping it entertaining for the crowd out there.
And we're hoping this series to drag out the fender bender. We have the BMW pace car fender bender, which will be doing some random track laps as we see a few more cars struggle with the concrete tyre barriers coming through into turn 8. So we're hoping the BMW fender bender will be used for some track guides and a few fun days. We might get Max and a few of the other drivers from the series to give us some insight on some of the information that they have acquired for these tracks. So we are running with Gravel Trap Legends. They run twice a week on Monday nights. This is the Pro Series round. This evening is a 45-minute plus 1 lap. And on Wednesday nights they have the much more relaxed Shakedown League, which is pretty well rock up and drive, and it's normally consisted of a short enduro being 30 minutes or 2 20-minute sprints. So if you are interested in getting involved with Automobilista 2, jump on to Discord, search up Gravel Trap Legends, and check out the information that's going on. Great bunch of guys to get involved with.
Yeah, so looking at Bale, see what he can get up to here. We've got obviously a car behind him, absolutely sliding around in the Skittles car. I believe that might be, just trying to think who was in that Skittles car. The black one would be Rhetorical Gambit, actually, sliding it around this place. Currently in 20th position, Gambit. So we'll just see if he can go up the order there, but with him sliding around, one wouldn't think he would. But up front, we've got DJM, the Twinkies car, the number 2. With only a minute left on the clock, we've got Esky Man on pole position in the P2 category in the Sigmas. And Viper not too far behind him. But there's only less than about just over 2.2 of a second between DJM and Dino. As Darren comes on over the start finish line, we'll see if he can better his 122.4. He can't at this stage. Actually, Dino has actually gone up to the top there in those timing monitors there by, as he's just having a spin straight back into the garage, but he's up by 0.082 of a second to DJM. No Frills is in the pit, so they're all going in the pits. We'll have a look and see what Norbs can do, as he's probably the last one to actually get maybe a lap just squeezed in. I'm not too sure.
So that boy's jumped into the chat and he's just wished Gambit all the best.
Yeah, Gambit all the way down in 20th, 15th in class. We'll obviously see more out of him, I reckon, during the race, as it's not all about qualifying around here at the streets of Long Beach. We're going to see quite a bit go on as John just moves up into P11 in class. So that was a nice little one. And Woodsy in the donut. I would say the Dunkin' Donuts. I was going to say Donut King. That's what we're probably more used to seeing in those colours. Looks like that's all over for him, as here comes Norbs down to see if he can do any better than 4th position. We'll see very shortly. No, he hasn't, so he stayed in 4th position. So Esky Man will be on pole with Viper on beside him with Mark 860 and Norbs on the
Mark
second row.
has one grid place penalty, so...
Well, yeah, so we'll have Norbs in 3rd and Mark still on the 2nd row beside him. And if I just bring up the timings there, we can go through. Stu will be on his lonesome there on row 3, and then we'll probably start row 4. The first of the GT4 cars with Dino and DJM, 1st and 2nd. There with No Frills and Gunner will be lined up together. Then we'll have the Bloody Nine and Brett will be in on the 3rd row. 4th row for the GT4s will be Joshua Hill and Woodsy. 5th row will be Kiz and Cuckoo. And then the 6th row will have John Slow and Steveski, who is, I believe, substituting. We did have it
for Dat Boy, who is in our chat. Good evening.
Yeah, for Dat Boy in the Skittles Porsche. And then I think we're up to the 7th row now with Scar, 666 and Bales. He's not really used to being so far back there. Tim, this is going to be interesting to see how Bales can go all the way back there. And then row 8, we've got Rhetorical Gambit and then Max Power. And then Pixel Boy out at the very back. So the two teammates in the Pixel Max car. We'll obviously have to have a look at them. That's probably a great looking livery there at night too, with a midnight blue livery as well. So
yeah, the guys are running. We've just seen qualifying during the day, but the race itself is at night.
Yeah, 45 minutes pit stops. There's going to be a lot of action, I would think, too. Full damage as well. And the Gravel Trap Legends safety car will be caught up to the last 5 minutes of racing. So if one of the drivers call out the safety car, they'll all group up for 1 lap, and then racing shall resume after that. Tonight.
Sorry there, Neil. For the guys in the chat, let us know who you're barracking for. Obviously, Dat Boy is gunning for Gambit, who is and Steveski, who is driving on his behalf. But for the rest of the guys in the chat, who are you gunning for this evening? Who is your favourite? And also, check out the liveries. Tell us who your favourite livery is. The liveries to choose from, we've got FedEx, Hooters, John Deere, Pepsi Max, Dunkin' Donuts, Skittles, KFC, M&M's, Rockstar, Jack Daniels, PV, Spam, Banter, Trojan and Twinkies.
Yeah, so we're going to have plenty of action there. Let's pick up one of the Bloody Nine in the Jack Daniels and JD machine. They look mean, don't they?
And how good are the graphics in Automobilista 2? This is absolutely fantastic. Under lights, the reflections, and the GT4s have that big lick of flame as they back out. before they go into the corners and change down gears. This is going to look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be definitely a bit of eye candy happening around, and we know we've got Skittles there to also give us that candy feel. But I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to seeing how all these GT4 cars go. I know we've got the Sigmas there as the wildcard entries. They're going to have a nice race on their own, the 5 cars. But I tell you what, it's going to be well and truly on between Dino, you'd think, in the big Mercedes, and the McLaren of DJM, and then we got the Porsche. I think actually the Janetta, sorry, of the No Frills of the Dunkin' Donuts.
So Neil, here's a question. We did see the times at qualifying, maybe 4 seconds a lap faster for the lead Sigmas. Are we going to see some lap traffic? Are we going to see some back markers?
Well, I think you will see some traffic. I think there was about a, from memory there, I didn't actually note down the actual qualifying time, but I think there was roughly about 4 second difference between the leading Sigma and the leading GT4. So,
but then how far back do we see Max and Pixel?
look, they're way back. So they're just coming onto the back straight there as these guys coming down to the turn 9. So they're almost a length. They're going slow though, I tell you what, for their formation. So it's a very interesting one how slow they're going in their formation.
I think they're just waiting for everyone now to group up.
I think there could be a problem here with one of these leading Sigmas. Viperon's actually pulling over.
What is going on there?
So we'll just see what's happening here. It looks like everyone's disconnecting actually, so it looks like we're going to be having a restart, everyone.
We do apologise for this, guys. We'll quickly flick over to the livery show while the guys get themselves organised into the next into a next lobby. So you are watching the Gravel Trap Legends GT4 Americana series. This is series 2 for 2023. The liveries for the GT4 series are all well-known brands or famous brands from America. The tracks are all selected from America. And if I have done myself justice, I would have actually got myself organised here. Here we go. We are round 1. This is Laguna Beach. Round 2 will be Long Beach for round 1, Laguna Seca for round 2. And I just need to get myself out of the lobby to help them get them organised, if it will click on that. Sorry guys, round 3 is Road America, round 4 Montreal, round 5 Watkins Glen, and the final round will be Indianapolis. And we just apologise while we have ourselves organised here to reset the lobby. One of the joys of having such a large field. I'll just get myself signed back in again so we can get the commentary booth set up. Oh, come on.
Alright. I believe they're going to be restarting their lobby.
Yep, just waiting for the lobby to come back up. Guys, we do apologise for this.
Go to an ad break, they say.
Absolutely. We could probably go back and watch the start that I recorded earlier. Rookie mistake. So we're working our way through the livery sideshow. You can see the cars that we will be expecting, and also there is a wild car, which is the Sigma P2. They can use the wild card on one occasion during the 6 rounds, and they can only use it once. This evening we have 5 drivers who have chosen to run with the Sigma.
Yeah, and they basically got also before, to keep in fairness as well, obviously to be able to draw that, or not even draw the wild card, but actually to nominate that you're going to drive the Sigma. GTL have imposed a 30 minutes before race time before you can actually nominate that you're going to actually play that wild card entry. So 30 minutes before race time is all you've got to be able to nominate. So no one knows actually who's in what. Only the admin will know that. So that's probably why we probably find Stu actually in
and we are good to go. Neil, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to jumping in again.
So just apologise, guys. We're just organising the broadcast booth at this stage. We have to get into the lobby and set ourselves up first prior to everybody else coming back in. So you're watching Gravel Trap Legends. If you enjoy Automobilista 2 or you're keen to get into Automobilista 2, then check out Gravel Trap Legends on Discord. And Automobilista 2 is having quite a large following now in Australia and Australasia through New Zealand. There are leagues running on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I believe there are random events happening on Saturday nights and Sunday nights as well.
Yeah, talking about events, there's a massive one happening this Sunday too for Charity for Cancer research as well here in Australia and New Zealand, and organised through Alex K Racing, and also partnered with, I haven't got him top of my mind here, but I'll get that to you shortly. But it's a 2-hour race around the Nordschleife on with the GT3s and GT4s, and it's going to start, I believe, 4 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Times for a 2-hour race with ×12 time progression. So that should be fairly fun to be able to get into. Qualifying starts at 4 PM actually, and then 4:30 will be the start of the race. So it's organised, obviously it's a fight for cancer, and it's also from Team Crude, who is actually doing the whole World's Greatest Shave event, and I think they're doing a whole lot of other stuff on the Xbox as well, with Forza Horizon and a few other things throughout the day. So yeah, definitely have a look there at Alex K Racing on Discord. But looks like everyone's loaded in here now, Tim. So obviously this Sunday anyway, big special event for a good charity cause. I think they're topping it to 30 drivers. So hopefully we get a full grid at the Nordschleife with the GT4s and GT3s.
And if we remember last year, we had the GTEs for the, I think we did the 2.5 hour Northcliffe enduro event, and it was absolutely fantastic. It is a great track to drive.
Sure is. So it looks like they're going out just quickly here for a 5-minute run to make sure everyone is good to go.
Right, we will bring you back live to the action on track. Everyone is coming back into the lobby, and everyone is testing their setups, ensuring that they have a good connection this time around.
So yeah, we did have 22, I believe, on the starting grid. So there's another 2 more to come on through as they're slowly filtering through, as we got them all sitting in pit lane. One would think that just making sure that they're getting their race setups, I think, loaded in. Here's that Pixel Max car of Pixel Boy, so not the Pepsi Max, we got Pixel Boy and Max Power, so pretty creative, these guys, calling it the Pixel Max car. I think that has to go down as one of the most creative team names and liveries there.
So while we wait for the guys to go through and do their test, Gravel Trap Legends on Monday nights. This is your saviour for Mondayitis. Every Monday night we'll be bringing you the rounds here for the Pro Series with Gravel Trap Legends. And this evening shows us the challenges that we have with our esports. We were talking a couple of weeks ago to an actual GT3 driver, and we're talking about the differences between what can happen in real life racing and what may happen online. And with the servers and the lobbies go down, it's no different than having a $5 fuel pump ruin your weekend on the track, Neil.
Yeah, exactly, Tim. You know, that's exactly how I've always tried to soften the blow, you could say, to some of the sim races. I know we can put a lot of time into, especially some special events and also these league races, and only to come undone. I've known plenty of drivers to be, you know, in podium positions with only 2 or 3 minutes left to go, and then all of a sudden, whammo, you know, some random disconnect takes all their hard work out of the equation there, and even some of the drivers, even at the start of the grid, don't even get to start. Look, how many times have you seen that at Bathurst? I can name a couple. Peter Brock standing on the grid trying to take off in his drive shaft popping, didn't even get started for 161 lap of the Bathurst 1000 back in the early 90s. So these things happen.
Some of the lesser issues that I've heard over the years, with especially with the GT series, they're actually weighed at the end of the event. And the driver that I was talking to actually made the comment that with 3 or 4 laps to go, he actually ran wide, ran over one of the sausage curbs and ripped off a guard from underneath that used to protect the gearbox. Unbeknownst to them, it weighs around about 1.5 kilos. So when he finished the race, it was a 60-minute race. So he was pulled across the scales, they weighed the car, and he was half a kilo underweight and got disqualified.
That's just, you know, that's it. That's the, you know, the things can happen in real life, you know, and they've done all the blood, sweat and tears to get to the end and find that happens, you know. Simple thing for running over a curb, losing a bit of weight from their car. But look, I've just got a quick question. Who wants to actually ride on board these guys throughout the evening tonight?
Did you say you want to ride Hooters?
I'm just saying. There's a fake taxi sign there with Hooters and everything, so you never know what we might get up to when we're on board there. So,
although I believe the brand has actually come to an end in America. The new generation is more interested in looking at their phone than they are at looking at the appendages.
Yeah, well, that's the poor state of life at the moment, I guess, with social media and everything like that. But anyway. Some people like to talk next door from one another on their phones instead of just, you know, sitting in the same room together and talking. But that's how we are these days.
But the guys will be organised now, so they will not have a qualifying, or if they do, they will have a rolling start lap to organise themselves into their starting position from their previous qualifying times. So as we see the cars lined up on the grid here, now they will slowly take away when the light goes green. They will get themselves into their racing order. And when they come around to the start-finish line, they will then start the race. That is standard practice for the restarts. And we are at Long Beach. So start at the finish line is referred to as East Shoreline. Coming down to turn 1, we come onto Aquarian Way and around through turns 2 and 3, which is the Rose Garden or the waterfall. And then turns 4 and 5 down onto West Shoreline, left-hander 6 and 7. Turn 8 is a right-hander. Got to be careful on the outside. Those tyre barriers are full of concrete. Down the back straight of East Shoreline, right-hander turn 9, left-hander turn 11, right-hander turn 11, back onto the start-finish line. The length of the track is 3.7 kilometres.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky for their study because the P2s are sort of mixed up with the GT4, so be interested to know what actually went on at that start, because everything looked pretty good on our end, Tim. Everyone was forming up well. There wasn't like any cars out of position. Everyone was just following, but it just went really slow all of a sudden. So maybe it was because one of the leading P2 cars of the Sigmas maybe got disconnected and maybe fouled it up. We're not too sure, but we're obviously missing a car. We had 22 cars. I'm just trying to think who we may miss, but we're just having a look. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the P2. So is it Mark that's missing? No, Mark's there. Mark's there. Esky. I think it might be Esky that might be missing. Because Esky Man was actually on pole position, and I think that's where it all went to a little bit problems when he maybe got disconnected. So he's not been able to make it. So that's unfortunate for Esky because he showed that pace in the Sigma.
And
so it looks like Mark will have pole position now.
So Dat Boy has confirmed that Esky has dropped out, and that is not good news. Obviously, something going on with his connection, which has prevented him from rejoining the new lobby.
We've just had another driver drop out too, because we've only got 20 cars there, so another one has dropped out. So just having a look to see, the P2s are still coming. We should have 4 P2s in total, which it looks like we may still have them just as they're all filtering through. We might have lost another one of the P2 cars actually.
I'm thinking, well, I'm only seeing 3 at the moment on the board. Mark, Norbs and Stu.
And Stu, I'm just trying to think who was the other one. Was it Viperon? I think it was.
Yeah,
so it looks like Viperon's actually gone as well. So
Dat Boy, yep, sorry there Neil, Dat Boy reported to have hardware problems. So that could be issues with his wheel.
Who, Viperon?
No. But both Esky and Viper are struggling with hardware problems. So that is issues with their wheels and their pedals.
That's
which
no
is
good.
And we spoke about that just before, Neil. That is commentator's curse to the max. And that's not max power.
We want all the power to go to Max. Actually, he showed some good form in the Wednesday shakedown as well, for this earlier run that we have of shakedown. Good opportunity on Wednesday nights for the Monday night crew to have a little bit of a more of a laid back, relaxed sort of feel of a race, and then also just the random drivers that want to give GTL a try and see what they're all about. And I think that's what you're sort of alluding to before, Tim. Just search them on Discord for Gravel Trap Legends and join on Wednesday night and see what it's all about. I believe it's 8 PM on a Wednesday night, Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, so New South Wales Victorian time, and adjust accordingly wherever you may be in Australia, New Zealand. But here we go. So Norby's going to have pole position as he's now coming onto the east seaside way, back straight between turns 8 and 9, and he's in the KFC P2 car. And we know that John Slow is in the finger licking good. You don't want to get those guys muddled up with the cars in front of the Hooters, do you, Tim? The
That would
old
be a
finger
slow
looking
hooter.
good. That may cause a few squeals, but yes, maybe some tyre lockups into turn 1.
So that would be Hooters following Sticky Fingers. Which I think the Dunkin' Donuts are referred to as the Sticky Fingers.
Definitely, and then you've got the Rockstar lifestyle of Scar in the PV. But here we go. It's already go. Norbs has taken off and Mark's in challenging into the turn 1. The opening round of the Gravel Trap Legends Americana. As we may say with these leaders of these cars here, they look like they're all sorting themselves out early on. We'll go back to these cars as they filter on through the turn 1.
Few of the boys going through there 2 and 3 wide. Wednesday night we actually had 3 cars around past the fountain. 3 cars wide. It was not pretty. It didn't end well.
No, wouldn't be at all. And I think I just saw Woodsy had a little pit icon up there, so maybe he caught in pits early on. Maybe it was just a graphical error, because I'm thinking you can't go in the pits before you take the start-finish line, otherwise you get to the starting flag, otherwise you get disqualified. So it must have been just a graphical error.
So
Witches cones are already flying, Tim.
And we're following with No Frills in the Dunkin' Donuts Janetta, I believe that is.
Yeah, it sure is, with the gunner just behind him in the Mercedes.
And this is a team events, Neil, and No Frills is driving with Woodsy. They're sharing the Dunkin' Donut livery this series.
Yeah, Woodsy hasn't had the best start right at the back there, so I don't know what happened to him. But look at the Merc power that he's got coming out here around the outside. Can he make it stick? It's probably not wise to do that. And you've got to be careful track limits there, Tim. You've got the blend line for the pit lane as well. You can't be over there too far on the right-hand side as you come for the braking zone of turn 1.
And you can't cut that ripple strip on the inside. They both give you a track cut.
Yeah, it can be pretty brutal around here. So that tyre bundle, as you mentioned before, they're not just tyres. They look like they're filled with concrete or titanium. They don't move.
And I find turn 6 that we just went through there is quite tricky too. It's hard to find that apex. It's actually almost blind. You sort of turn in and hope that you don't hit the wall.
I think that's nearly everywhere, isn't it, Tim?
Turn 8 is probably my favourite corner on this track, coming down onto East Shoreline. You turn in early, you hold the power on, and you hope it sticks. And when it comes off, it feels absolutely fantastic. When it goes pear-shaped, it's pretty well game over.
Now you've got a bunch of Camaros and a Porsche. How good is this for GT4 action? You can't get much better than this. The sounds of the deep growl of the Camaro, the Chevy, and then the high whine of a Porsche.
And the KFC Porsches are shared with John Slow and Viper for this series. Currently sitting with John Slow. And Viper will be running the reverse colours with the red on white.
Two Skittles cars seem to be following one another. Though Stevesky, who's subbing in, as we said before, for Chris Payne, I think it was.
For the Skittles cars, no, Stevesky is covering for Dat Boy.
Dat Boy, that was it, sorry.
And Dat Boy is teaming up with Gambit for this series in the Skittles cars.
Yeah, and we're just looking at Gambit, Rhetoric Gambit here. He's just trying to hold off Bales. Oh, as he smacks the walls, and the M&Ms and Skittles, they're having a fight for one another, saying, where's the M&Ms gone?
Yep, so the M&M McLaren is Bales, and he is partnered with Chris Payne, but Chris is not available this evening. He had other commitments, but he'll be back for round 2 for sure. And we can thank Chris for some of these liveries. He's done hard work behind the scenes to ensure that all the cars have an outstanding livery.
It's getting very tight up here at the front for the GT4s. There's nothing in it. Only a second separate, 1 to 4. How good is the GT4 cars? Balance of performance in the game's fairly good for these cars as well, especially around a tight circuit like this.
I'm looking Frills and Gunner, so this is the Genera and McLaren going at it.
Pressing a little bit too early, guys, on some of the drivers, sorry. Trying to get them running out through this corner.
It looks like a few of the cars may be showing a few wear. The Skittles car, it could be the reflections, but it does look like it's got a little bit of damage on the front end. The black Skittles back behind.
Yeah, they're the Rhetoric and Bales both smacked the wall coming onto the back straight out of turn 8 previous lap. I think they were trying to get into each other's Skittles or M&M box, but nothing like a mixed bunch, you would say. But look at this, coming on through turn 1.
As you said, the big lick of flames coming out of the back of the cars there as they back down through the gears.
So it's very hard to pick who's going to come out on top of these. I think it's very too early to even think. 34 minutes, just under 35 minutes actually remaining. Mark doing a great job out front in the Sigma.
So just looking at that, Neil, we are 10 minutes into this race. These guys are 20 seconds behind. So that would mean in another 30 minutes, so before the end of the race, potentially they could be looking at the Sigmas coming up behind them.
Now there was no mandatory stop, was there, in this series?
No, the only stop would be for the mandatory repairs if you hit the concrete walls.
So the Sigma should have fuel to run for 45 minutes, one would think. Maybe they'd be on near close to needing a bit of fuel, but the GT4 should be okay. There's No Frills coming down here, making his move for third position.
And great move up the inside, getting it done before the roundabout.
Yeah, and he's obviously driving in the Rockstar Energy car, I think it is it?
Yep, that's the Rockstar Mercedes.
Of Gunner.
Obviously,
another challenge with the Janetta, isn't it? The Janetta's doing a good job trying to stay with the Mercedes.
But this is where the Mercedes stretches its legs. Those things are ultra quick in a straight line.
Yeah, you can also see the bloody 9 starting to tag onto the back of No Frills as well. As looks like Max Power's just getting out of the way as the leading pack come on through.
And
leading by the John Deere car of Dino.
Dino carrying his form on from last series. And DJM in the McLaren close on his heels.
And up front too, Norbs is still keeping Mark honest, only 2 seconds behind as Bales comes in. That damage that he copped when he was following John Slow, I think it might have, no, it wasn't John Slow, it was the Gambit, I think it was, yeah. Might have been enough for him to now think, well, time's to get this sorted, because they will lose a lot of top end speed with aero damage.
And they don't like to turn corners once you start crumpling up the front end. But here's our race leader.
Yeah, we've got to have a look here at Mark 860. Early on, as they were all in the lobby, he was trying to suss out who was in the Sigmas because he was pulled his card out thinking, I want the best result here, and I'll tell you what, he's doing a good job out in front. He's got to keep them off the walls. And he'll know he'll have to keep it going with Norbs. He's fairly handy in these type of cars as well, so it's all about staying consistent, one would think here, Tim, as well. Just getting over these bumps, not pushing too hard, not getting on the throttle too early out of some of these corners. Well, I believe these cars stick pretty well out of the corners with the aero. As you can see, that wing flap open with the DRS.
And I think we've lost Cuckoo. Dapoy's just jumped on and advised us we've lost another one. And
oh, that's unfortunate.
Cuckoo was driving one of the Hooters Camaros.
As we do know, sometimes it can cause a little bit of hardware issues, this game, with the nighttime driving. Sometimes some of the guys have to maybe turn some of the settings down beforehand if they're running a bit too much on Ultra.
One team that we have not seen at all this evening, Neil, is the FedEx Janettas for DDF and Rangi Rover. It appears both drivers have missed round one for the FedEx team.
Lost in transit mode, a bit like Australia Post, I think.
Maybe they were flying Ansett.
Well, I'll be waiting for a while. There's Stu in third position, going to get some valuable points there. Obviously, he's been able to take third out in the race with the Sigma, as long as he can get through with any of those $2 parts dropping out from the car. And now we go on to Dino, still leading this pack. It's an angry pack as well, these four. I think these are going to run all through the race. Dino's just looking like he's looking after the tyres, doing a Shane Van Gisbergen. Not getting the car out sideways, just keeping it nice and straight.
But we've seen...
Doesn't have the challenge of a car in front of him either, so that's the advantage that you do have.
Gunner's on the march because he was behind DJM when we last checked. So maybe DJM is losing a little bit in that McLaren. He's maybe struggling with a little bit of pace down the straights, maybe?
Yeah, probably is. As you said, these Mercedes, AMGs, they got some top end grunt, that's for sure. Look at him just pull away, Tim, from the McLaren. But then the McLaren being a bit lower to the ground, and it's been able to catch up through the twisty parts through this first sector.
But we can see no frills in the Hooters Camaro. Oh, the Dunkin' Donuts Janetta is certainly putting some pressure on the back of that McLaren.
Yeah, No Frills is doing a great job. We love the Twinkies car in third position of DJM. John Slow's into the pits too, so things aren't going well for John, unfortunately, at this stage as well, visiting the pit lane. So the bloody nine has actually just dropped away from these guys a little bit as well. As he's got the other Twinkies cars not too far behind him in Brett.
We just wait for the timing board to actually catch up. But look at No Frills, the bloody nine, Brett, John Hill, all in the 123s. But the top three Janettas. Oh, Dino won a 123, so he was off a little pace a little bit that lap, but Gunner and DJM, the 122s, on the march.
Yeah, they sure are. And look at Jay Hill just behind the Twinkies car in that PV Camaro.
And the one thing they haven't tested yet, and that could be coming into play now, is tyre wear and brake wear. If we take a look at the lap times for the P2s, the Sigmas are very similar lap times now to the GT4s.
Yeah, it's getting close, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good point there. There's obviously the two Sigmas in the 21s, but yeah, Stu's struggling just that little bit, about just half a second or so behind. But yeah, the GT4s are doing those the high 22s as well.
Cuckoo is jumped in the chat to say g'day. He had a game crash, that was the reason for his dropout, and he wasn't experiencing any issues with tyre wear.
Right, okay, so Dino's just had a spin out of the final corner, so he's from the lead all the way down into P10 in class, so big moment for Dino. So that now gives Gunner the lead of the race. Can this bloke do anything wrong? As I said earlier, he took out the ANZ CRL Brazilian Stock Car Championship on Sunday, and here he is for a brand new season. Straight from Interlagos, straight to Long Beach on the red-eye flight, and doing well in the Mercedes.
So the question will now be, can Gunner catch up to the back of Stu?
Yeah, well, what's that, about 9 seconds behind?
Nearly 20 they're nearly 20 seconds off the back of Stu, but still 24 minutes, and the Sigmas have gone from 1 minute 17s back into the 122s and 121s and 122s, so they have had a drop off in pace.
I reckon that would be coming down to their tyre wear. I'm not too 100% sure if they've got the option of soft tyres, but they could be running the softs. Whereas these guys are on the hard tyres, so their performance ain't going to drop down in tyre life with the hard tyres.
Okay, and Cuckoo's just updated to say that Gunner is only here for 3 rounds, so he's in for a good time, not a long time.
Oh, well, we may need to see if he can jump himself into one of these Camaros for a good time. Fries and steaks and a nice Jack Daniels as well.
The Sticky Fingers Hooters.
Don't they look clean as well, the liveries? They've done such a good job. All the livery creators here at Gravel Trap Legends. Absolutely,
another outstanding effort from all of the guys that do the liveries for Gravel Trap Legends. Fantastic job once again, and all the guys behind the scenes that enable these guys to get out on track, and for us to be able to bring these broadcast to life for you guys. Absolutely fantastic effort. Take your hats off. It's a lot of work that goes into getting these cars on track and these series up and running.
And Joshua Hill is definitely well and truly still within a podium. If anything goes wrong with these front runners, because he's not too far away from them, only 10 seconds behind. No Frills in third, but he's obviously got the bloody 9 and Brett in front of him. And we can see these Camaros seem to be moving up through the field.
And the GT4 brands that we have for this series, the Ginettas, the Mercedes, the Porsche, the McLarens, and the BMWs. And obviously the wild card, the Sigma P2s.
Have we seen a BMW? I don't think we have seen a BMW.
Let's see, we had Norbs was being the BMW, but he was driving the P2.
Okay, yeah. So we're waiting
and
for
Stu was also in the BMW. And
so two of those drivers in the wildcard entries.
And we also had Travis M registered for the series, but I don't know if Travis had a livery for his vehicle or whether he was able to commit. And we obviously have the pace car is a BMW. That's the car sponsored by Fender, affectionately known as Fender Bender.
The Fender Bender safety car, pace car. So No Frills is sort of out on his own in I mean the bloody 9 I should say, not No Frills. No Frills is challenging DJM here for second. But the bloody 9 just up in the background. Holding station in P4. I think it's about time we jump on board the roof camera and have a lap around here at Long Beach on board Darren's McLaren.
Turn it up and enjoy.
So that was a 1 minute 23.316 lap on board Darren, and you did see him run a little, looked like it was under a challenge from No Frills as he ran a little bit wide out of turn 8 there. So
we saw one of the Pepsi Max Porsches looking a little worse for wear.
definitely not, it might have been Pixel Boy.
There we go. That's not a handy looking Porsche at all. It obviously needs a Pepsi Max to pep itself back up again.
I think he's just trying to keep his esky cool in the front of that car, mate. Bonnet raised up, getting a bit of airflow through there.
The team has certainly got some work cut out to get that car back on track for the next event.
Definitely. You got Brett just trying to chase down the bloody 9, doing a great job. So he's been able to find that pace. As we said, the bloody 9 was actually on his own in the background when we were looking at DJM and No Frills having that battle.
The question is going to be whether Brett is going to be able to find enough pace in that McLaren. If the bloody 9 does not make a mistake, that it's going to be difficult to make that pass.
Oh, it sure is, but Brett, being as fast he was in the BMW M1 Pro Car Series, I think that he may just try and wear out the bloody 9 somewhere and take it dive. I reckon the chance of where he could make a pass actually is into after turn 9 out to the back straight. You can try and duck it down in between turn 10 and 11. It's a risky move. He's got a good run here down the back straight, but he's got obviously the Pepsi Max car. We've just got to see if he gets the brakes nice and late here and get a good run out of this turn 9, which he's done, but he's got balk, so it's just so hard. So he's trying it around the outside.
Oh, great vision there to get the cars around, but this is the issue with fighting one of the Mercedes. Their power in a straight line is unmatchable by the other cars.
Yeah, it's almost like Brett's fighting with one hand behind his back here. And the bloody Nine's just doing everything he can with the pure muscle of the Mercedes AMG power plant.
I think it's going to be put the pressure on the back of the Bloody Nine, hoping that he'll have a slight accident, a little rub of the wall, a little touch of one of those concrete filled tyre barriers, and that could give the advantage back to the McLaren.
Yeah, well, it only takes one slip up with 15 minutes remaining, and the guys would have had that frustration as well from the first previous aborted race start. So their night's been a little bit longer than what they were anticipating. So they just got to put that all behind themselves here with this 15 minutes remaining, plus the one extra lap too, Tim. So it's not over, is it, until right to the very death of this race. And we know that we've got that big battle between the three cars up front with Gunner, DJM and No Frills. And don't count out Norbs to put on the pressure late on the race to Mark as well for overall honours.
But just looking at those times, Mark did find an extra lap, or extra 1 second that lap. A 120 flat versus a 121. So Mark's starting to get comfortable back in the Sigma P2. But Gunner and DJM, there's not much separating them at the moment, both in the high 122s. No Frills was actually the fastest GT4 on track that last lap.
Here we go. He's got the run, but he's going to be on the outside here, but we can
he's
see
got
the
him.
late braking of the McLaren. So this is what he needs too, Tim, because he's got these few extra corners to get that little gap before the short back straight. So he should be able to hold off the bloody Nine down here the East Seaside Way up to turn 9. So nice move from Brett up into P4. And that's exactly what you're saying, Tim. Just wear him out to make that little mistake. Talking about a mistake.
I'm hoping that was a visual glitch and not a real error. No, the way that car's turning, that was not looking pretty.
No, I think that was actually a driver error there. He seems to go on, he was trying to push through that little section full of understeer, and you can just tell that he's struggling right now. So we might see Brett falling down to the clutches of Joshua Hill before the end of this race. Josh Hill will have some time up his sleeve to maybe try and get him. He's 16 seconds in a rear. Just depends how much this is going to hurt Brett through the corners and also down the straight, where they lose a lot of time with the aero damage.
It doesn't look like it's turning as bad as it looked around turn 11. It looks like it's still turning in alright. It doesn't look to be too much understeer.
Yeah, he might have just got away with that, and he might be, but 1.2 seconds off his fastest of his previous lap time, or his best lap time. But yeah, but he's a quality driver, Brett. Even though he made that little mistake, he will do everything he can to hold on to this position 5.
And Cuckoo's listening into the chat, and Cuckoo said Brett called it before he hit it. He knew he was in trouble when he turned in.
Oh, that's no good. And look at this for the battle. Talking about Josh Hill, no wonder he's not. He's losing a little bit of time. He's got this big battle of the Hooters I can tell you what, he might be getting distracted at the moment looking in his rear view mirror. And I say anyone would get distracted seeing the big Hooters car coming up behind you, and then he's got the colourful Skittles car behind that.
Yeah, Stavisky's driving for Dat Boy this evening in the Skittles car.
Yeah, you're doing a good job too as a reserve driver. But look at Kiz. Have you got any suggestions if Kiz is going to get this move done somewhere, Tim, or you reckon that he'll just have this brute force?
Well, it's Camaro versus Camaro, so there's no horsepower advantage. Unless the guys have got little subtle tweaks that may give him a gain here or there. But Kiz looks like he's got the better line. He certainly looks like he's got better control of the car at the moment. And just brings me undone there as he drops back a little bit.
Yeah, well, he's got Stevesky actually also keeping him honest here, so this is going to be a good little battle all the way to the end. And it'll be interesting to find the feedback between this race and the second round to find out how these tyres have held up. But there's keeping a little eye on the battle for the lead of the GT4s. As looks like the timing are a little bit out, so I might just have a little look while we can to get a full gauge of where we're at. And it looks like there's not much between these two at all. Half a second. As he just glances the tyre wall, just pops up a little bit of the marbles on the outside of that wall, pushing it very far. Gunner. Do we know where we are for round 2, Tim, at all for the Americana series?
Laguna.
Wow, what a series that will be of a race around Laguna Seca. Just see who will take the Sigma around that circuit. With a lot of aero that you need around that track, fast corners, the Sigma should do fairly well.
Laguna Seca is a 50-minute race. Round 3 will be Road America. That's a 55-minute race. Montreal is a 45-minute race for round 4. Round 5, the famous Glen, 55-minute race around Watkins Glen. And we round out round 6 is a 60-minute race around Indianapolis.
Oh, that would have to be one of my favourite circuits. The Indianapolis layout, the road course. I love the infield section there of that track. So we'll go back now to seeing how this little battle's going out. It looks like Brett.
Ooh, John Hill's had a little bit of a wobble, and Scar has moved up on the back, and Woodsy is knocking on their door as well.
Yeah, Woodsy's doing a good job in the second of the Dunkin' Donuts car.
Kiz is doing a great job though holding off Stavinsky, but they have dropped off the back of Brett now.
It looks like Norbs is starting to, when I just say that, is his times are just ducking out just a little bit, but it looked like he was getting a lot closer. As Mark's just getting in through this lap traffic.
Yeah, the timing board is causing us a few glitches tonight, so we can't be 100% accurate with the details that we have in front of our screen. But we can just see Norbs in the background there, negotiating the McLaren. And safely through.
Yeah, so he's obviously on the hunt here. He's, I think he's got a little bit more pace, to be honest, to Mark. Previous lap he was faster.
Interesting point, they will come up the next. GT4 is only a second or so up the road. They should catch that GT4 before they get to the start-finish line.
Yeah, one of the Jack Daniels cars.
It doesn't look like it's held them up too much. They should successfully navigate this. Although the GT4 cars do hold good pace down this start-finish line.
Yeah, I'd be saying that if the Merc really wanted to go hard, he probably would stay in front of him down the straight here, but he's probably yielded. And saying that, he's gone hard and almost put himself into the wall. That was a little bit risky. Been a little bit cheeky as well with the blue flags being waved.
So Norbs again, struggling to negotiate the GT4 and has dropped back to 2 seconds. But another 3 GT4s not far up the road. They will negotiate those cars before the end of the race. You can see
so that was the Buddy 9 in position 4. Obviously he wants to try and not lose too much ground to Brett. He's obviously trying to chase down if he can get to no frills, but he's a fair way away from that.
I think Brett's just done himself some damage hitting the wall coming into turn 8. It looks like he's been spreading the love. That Twinkie is now all over the guardrail.
Yeah, I think he's struggling after he had that hit, after he made that nice move on the bloody 9 and put it into the wall. I think it was in turn 9, not exit of turn 9. About 4 or 5 laps ago. But Gunner's still out in front as is Mark, so the 2 class leaders. I tell you what, Gunner doesn't look like he's had any too much major scrapes. There's probably a little scrape actually you can see on that front right of his car. Gunner's also been known to also have a little glitch every now and then with his car in every race. His car glitches every now and then, but so who knows if it was from a little glitch or if it was maybe even a rub with one of the back markers as well.
Cuckoo's just pointed out there are no blues for the Sigmas, so no blue flags for the Sigmas passing the GT4s.
Fair enough. Race on. Thank you.
But we can see from Gunner and DJM here the importance of keeping it clean and keeping it off the walls.
So rotten luck from Dino too. We had that spin out of turn 11 at the hairpin coming onto the main straight. From the lead of the race as well. He's languishing all the way back in position 11. Josh Hill's actually dropping too. He's dropping positions as we speak. So Woodsy's got him.
Yeah, it's the front of that
this
PV.
Looks a little bit interesting with Stu. Stu coming in behind in the P2s. This is a nice little battle. Oops, a little love tap.
The Donut's just turning up the volume on the PV there.
That's right, and Stu wants to come in for the action as well. So as we said, you can just see how these GT4s have the legs at the end. The top end speed of these GT4s just give these P2s a little bit of a hard time. This is one where I think that Road America, Tim, probably won't be much of a advantage of a circuit for these Sigmas. I'd be very surprised if we see too many people taking it up at Road America. I think you'll see a lot more people taking it on at Laguna Seca next week. And here we go. Gar being able to just hold off Woodsy. This is a good battle. Late in the race for position 8. He's protected down the inside and Stu's trying to get through at the same time. Oh! He's just let him go. So maybe Woodsy let the blue flag being waved and caught himself napping, actually, with the rules as we've just been informed that they don't have to yield to the P2 cars. And obviously Scar Woodsy's actually made that pass.
You can see Gunner now, just getting overtaken by Mark.
So the two class winners in the shop there with 1 minute remaining, plus the 1 lap.
So that would be all the GT4s have been lapped now. They are all a lap down.
Yeah, so we've got 2 more laps remaining. It'll be this one plus the 1 extra lap. So let's have a look to see if there's any battles that we need to keep an eye on. We know that Gunners, without any incident, should hold on to first. It looks like DJM Darren has actually been able to extend his leads on no frills. The Bloody Nine has shaken away the challenges of Steveski and Brett. But this battle here for Steveski and Kiz is definitely on. The Skittles and the Hooters, they have got 2 laps remaining.
Dat Boy would be hoping that Steveski could hold on, filling in for Dat Boy this weekend in the Skittles Porsche.
Yeah, it's a very colourful livery. Done an outstanding job. I believe it's the leading Porsche as well. When we went through there, I'm not 100% sure if I went through a Porsche, but I'm pretty sure that might be the leading Porsche, Tim.
So, yep, the Pepsi Mac boys would be sadly down towards the back of the pack. The other Porsches, John Slow, which we can see there, currently running 12th in class in the KFC. And I think that makes up our group of Porsches, the KFC, the Skittles and the Pepsis.
Porsche's just absolutely extended its legs through this part of the circuit.
Yeah, that boy's told us that Steveski's got that thing on rails now.
And he's coming up to the sister Porsche car, well, not the sister team car, but the other Porsche car of John Slow. And put a lap on John. So this is the last lap.
No commentators curse, it's all good, Dat Boy. Only commentators curses for Stu this round.
As we pick up Mark here to come around the final corner.
Outstanding drive.
And plays the wild card perfectly to take victory here, round 1 of the Americana series. With Norbs in second. And that's a good job by him. And here comes Gunner, who's just going to hold off DJM by the looks of things as they've crossed the start-finish line. And the Bloody Nine comes on through. So what was the other battle that we were looking at? This one here was Steveski actually holding off Kiz. And we've got John Slow coming around just in the KFC car. Just a shame we didn't have the KFC car coming through with the Max Power cars. As someone said earlier, the KFC meal deal.
And Dino, unfortunately, after leading the race, coming home 11th in class in the John Deere Mercedes.
Yeah, that's probably the hard luck story of the night, basically. Other than all the other 4 cars, I think, disconnecting or not being able to complete the race. But Dino leading class, but coming unstuck. But still coming home in 11th, so well done to Dino.
Absolutely fantastic. So there we go. Mark A60 taking out the round 1 of the GT4s in the Sigma P2 wildcard entry, followed by Norbs and Stu. Then Gunner 180, DJM and No Frills taking out the top 3 positions for the GT4s. They were followed by the Bloody Nine, Brett S. Steveskis, Kiz, Scar, Woodsy, Joshua Hill. If my mouse would work, I could pull these down. Dino at 11th, John Slow, Barnes McKenzie, Pixel Boy and Max Power rounding out our 18 cars that finished this race. Congratulations to all drivers.
Good times too, when you look at that 119.545 from Mark, race pace, that's not too bad. And then what are we looking at, the GT4s? We got a 22.5 nearly flat by Gunner, and as I'm scrolling down, I think that could actually be the fastest lap from the GT4s as well. So what's that, 3 seconds difference, Tim, from the fastest time from the P2s to the GT4s? So
but over
competitive.
Over the pace of 32 laps, that was an entire lap. As we can see, with 2 laps to go, Gunner was overtaken by Mark 860.
So who was your driver of your day, you reckon, to tonight at all, Tim? Anyone sort of stand out for you?
I'm going to say No Frills. No Frills had an ultra clean race, consistent, kept it off the walls and held on to 3rd position. Obviously the Mercedes were just going to be too hard in a straight line. Great for him to get a podium finish for the GT4.
Mine goes out to Mark 860 because he was in. He wasn't too sure if he should throw his wild card out for tonight, and he did, and it paid off. So definitely, and he actually had the fastest lap of the race, and also held off the challenge from Norbs as well early in the race, and also mid part of the race when Norbs started coming back at him. So a good run from Mark, because he would have had to get through those lap traffic too nice and cleanly.
We might see if we can grab Mark 860. I'll just see whether he's all good. We'll drag him into our chat. Good evening, Mark. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sensational job, Mark. I was just calling out that you, from my point of view, you got the driver of the day from myself, as you pulled out that wild card and absolutely done an outstanding job out front, leading the pack, had to contend with those lap traffic, and also Norbs also throwing that pressure to you late in the race with about 10 minutes to go as well, and you held your nerve and got through cleanly and extended your lead at the very end, and also the fastest lap to boot.
Oh wow, didn't know that. Norbs was on my tail within 2 seconds the whole way.
Yeah, definitely, and you didn't flinch, mate, so an outstanding drive. Your car came back nice and clean, a little bit better than some of the other cars out there that had panels hanging off them, and looked like there's a lot of work involved for to get ready for round 2 next week at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, you got to get used to that GT4 again. I think I lucked out with a few of the drops out at the start of the race. Might have been a bit different story with Esky still.
Yeah, definitely. Esky showed pace at qualifying, obviously was the pole sitter, but these things sometimes happen, and Viperon was showing a lot of pace as well. So yeah, but you take it as they come, mate, and wasn't easy out there by the looks of things anyway. So well done to you, Mark.
Yep, I'm quite happy to take it. That'll be my first winning with the GDL boys.
And first time lead the championship. Well done, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. We'll let you go back to the push to talk chat. Thank you very much. And there you have it, Neil. That is round 1 for Gravel Trap Legends GT4 Americana series.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Definitely we're looking forward to seeing DDF and Rangy come in, hopefully for round 2 in the FedEx cars. And obviously a lot better luck for Esky, Viperon, and the others that dropped out as well during the race.
Yep, Cuckoo would be hoping he can get the full race next week and get some points on the board. Thank you everyone for watching this evening. We hope you enjoyed it. I do apologise for the start of the stream. That was Monday-itis kicking in. But we'll be back again next Monday night with round 2 for the GT4 Americana series. From Tim, it is good night.
Good night.